Again, I dare you. I double dare you, mother.
Get busy living. You get busy dying.
Open the pod bay doors, Hal.
You're gonna need a bigger boat. And here we go.
Okay, welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Cult Podcast. I am your host, Cody Maloof. With me, as always, my co-host, Dante Troina. And we're talking Sinners this week. Finally, Dante.
Finally. We had quite the adventure getting to this movie. I think you've seen it now, what, 4 times?
4 times.
I've seen it once, 2 nights ago. I was lucky enough, after a couple of delays at our local theater, to get the movie in the first place. And then we experienced about an hour and a half delay on the movie one night and decided to call it quits and go back another night. And luckily we got a little re-screening and we actually get to talk about Sinners. Yes, the podcast is finally here. I'm so excited to talk about this movie. I was so excited to see it and just sitting here in denial for a long time about it. And now to be talking about it on the pod, I am thrilled.
Yeah, I'm glad you finally got the chance to see it. I saw it opening weekend a few times. I ended up seeing it 3 times in 70 millimeter IMAX, not to flex again, but I was lucky enough to live right down the street
Son
from
of a bitch.
one of the places with the 70 millimeter projector. I got to see it in the 1:3 aspect ratio. So going into this experience, we were just seeing it in standard digital. Our theater here is not the best, but at least you finally got to see it. I got to see it again.
It's 1080p and it is a sound system,
Exactly.
so it exists. Yeah.
So I think even in maybe the suboptimal conditions that you saw it in, I think you still had a great time with it. I've hinted to it before, I think, in previous recordings, but I absolutely love this movie. This is, at this point in the year, this is the best movie of the year for me. Not saying it, other things could come out and something could dethrone this, but right now for me at this point, this is number one.
Yeah, this might be the best for me since Oppenheimer. I know we don't want to get into that grand scheme conversation today, right? But this, how could you not have a good time? This is such a fun movie. So easy to like, so easy to fall in love with the characters, with the score, with the cinematography, with the plot points that it addresses, and just with the overall, it's like weirdly fun and hilarious as a movie too, which I wasn't expecting going in. You did a great job at getting me more hype for it, but not giving away a single thing about the movie. I was still just kind of blown away in different ways of what I was expecting from the trailers versus what the movie gave me. And I was really lucky to not have much spoiled for me. So I had amazing experience with it.
Yeah, I think this movie definitely benefits if you don't know anything about it going in. I think the more you know about this movie going in, the kind of it lessens some of the impact of some of the stuff that happens in the story. If you haven't seen this movie yet, definitely don't listen to this podcast. Just go see the movie first. The general plot revolves around these two characters, both played by Michael B. Jordan, these twin brothers. The movie takes place in the Jim Crow South in the early 1930s in Mississippi.
Yep.
We follow these two twin brothers played by Michael B. Jordan. They come back to their home in Clarksdale, Mississippi after spending some time supposedly working for Al Capone as gangsters. These guys also fought in World War One. And now they're coming back to start a juke joint in Mississippi. And that's kind of what the first half of the movie revolves around. It's a lot of setup. It's a lot of building and introducing characters and like just setting the whole story up for the eventual turn, which is vampires. The whole second half of the movie is a vampire movie, and it's executed incredibly well. I think this movie has something for everybody, and that's kind of the main thought I've had about this movie time and time again. Is it literally has everything you could ever want in a movie. It has action, drama, sex, comedy, horror. Like there's literally anything that you could want in this movie is here, and you just really don't get stuff like this that often.
Yeah, if you like movies, you should like Sinners, right? There's, like you said, something for everybody, something to cheer about, something to cry about, something to laugh about, something to be scared of every moment on screen, and balances all those tones really well, surprisingly too. I think this is just the ultimate, this is why we do it movies. This is why we go to the theater. This is why we watch movies. This is why we love movies. This is one of those, if you didn't see it in the theater, you're at a disadvantage in viewing it for life, because seeing something like this in the theater is such a powerful experience. I don't want to overstate just the importance of film and the genre, right? But it's so true. This is why we love movies. This is why we have a podcast, is because of movies like this, is because of, The Dark Knight, is because of maybe something like Mad Max in theaters as well. Just these strong, powerful movies that jump through the screen and punch us right in the gut in every way. Just Sinners is absolutely why we do it.
Yeah, I think there's just so much to unpack here. I kind of want to start with the performances. I think everybody in this movie is lights out. Michael B. Jordan, I
Right.
think this is the best he has ever been in a movie.
Yeah.
I could not. I mean, he's a great actor. He's been in a lot of really good stuff, but I think this is the best he has ever been. He's playing two characters in this movie, which is really hard, and he does a really good job at making them feel distinct from each other. You don't feel like he's just doing the same thing twice, even though he is playing twin brothers. You can easily distinguish which character is which, and I think that could have gotten lost really easily. So, he does a great job, but I think everyone else is killing it too. Whether it's Miles Catton, I mean, this is literally his first acting role ever. He plays Preacher Boy here.
Yeah,
Um,
have fun beating that
I know. I mean,
for the rest of your career.
how do you top that? I mean, he's acting his ass off. He's also playing the guitar and he's singing. It's
Somebody take
incredible.
me.
We'll get to the music in a minute, but you also have Haley Steinfeld here, and I think probably her defining role to this point is still True Grit. This was like the movie that
Yeah.
really like announced her, and she is incredible in that movie. But she's great here too. And we haven't really had a ton of,
Completely differently too.
and it's completely different. We haven't had a ton of live action Haley Steinfeld performances recently. I mean,
Yep.
lately she's been doing the Spider-Verse stuff, which she's been great in. And then I think since Bumblebee, I hadn't really seen her in much in many movies. Besides, we had her in the Hawkeye series. She's been around still. But it was great to see her. She is amazing in this movie. She's doing things and saying things I don't think we ever would have expected from Haley
Right.
Steinfeld, and she's just
Right.
killing it. Everyone else too. I mean, I really want to shout out like Delroy Lindo, like famed character actor, someone who I think everybody just loves at this point, and it's great to see him here. Jamie Lawson is so great in this. I mean, her singing is amazing too. She's so hot and sexy in this movie. I mean, everyone's just killing it. But if I could shout out one person in this movie, it's Jack O'Connell as Remick, the lead vampire. Yeah. He is just on another level. Like, he's so kind of funny and creepy and sinister, and he has some great musical moments in this movie too. I think going into this movie,
Yeah.
it was marketed as a vampire movie, and I wish we hadn't seen as much of that in the trailers. I mean, even the trailers gave away things like one of the two Michael B. Jordan characters becoming a vampire, Haley Steinfeld's character becoming a vampire. So I kind of going into that, I already was expecting those things, but what I really wasn't expecting was the level of music that's in this movie and how music is utilized not only in the score, but there are some big musical numbers and set pieces in this movie that totally revolve around music. And I wasn't expecting that going in, but it just adds a whole other layer to this movie that makes it like that much deeper and that much like fun, that much more fun to watch and unpack. And it adds a lot more.
Yeah, I completely agree. It was really cool to see how we got to some of those moments, because while I was watching them, I wasn't thinking about the trailers much, but I do know in the back of my head that Haley Steinfeld turns into a vampire at some point, and seeing how we got there was really fun. And kind of, I thought she was going to be part of Remick's crew, right? Just from the trailer, that she was going to be part of the vampire crew. She was absolutely not. She gave a lot of real depth and emotion to that character beyond just being the vampire turn. I think going into a movie knowing that someone's going to turn evil might put them at a disadvantage in acting, and she absolutely just crushed it from the start. Gave her character so much to write home with and to think about afterwards of the movie. I agree with your shout out of Remick. Dude had less than 20 minutes of screen time. Jack O'Connell just absolutely killed it. When he was on screen, he stole every scene that he was in. The character design that they picked for him with the claws and the red eyes and the drooling mouth, and the weird hilarity to the vampire that he plays was fun to watch. And like you said, the music, kind of in a Babylon type way where the music just plays right into the film. I was trying to pitch this movie to someone yesterday, and it was like, well, if you like Django and you like The Thing and maybe From Dusk Till Dawn, right?
Dawn.
And stuff like this. But also like not like a musical, but kind of a musical. Like, how do you pitch a movie
there
like
are
that?
big music is a huge element in this
right.
movie.
And like, what would the term be for that? Like a movie that's not a musical, but music very much defines the film. Like maybe Challengers last year, where it's very much edited to the music and plays into the music. It's so much fun to hear. Ludwig, man, there were a couple times in the theater, like know the score already. I just turned to you, like, what the hell? What level are we on right now? It seemed like everything was placed so well in the movie too. There's this weird like in the back half of the movie, it's almost like the Thriller album, like Michael Jackson's Thriller album with these big synths and horror like
Uh-huh.
80s spooky type
Well, you get
music.
some like when the vampires show up, you get this like these like almost like death metal like guitar hit, and it's like
Right.
dun,
Right.
dun.
It
Awesome.
even fits it fits Remic's character motivations because he feels like such a with the design and the way he portrays himself, he's like an 80s movie villain, but he has 21st century motivations as well, and the complexity that might have been lacking from some of those horror movies that we've seen in the past. Um, and the score fits everyone. I think the Smokestack Twins theme just being that melancholic day in their life almost, and knowing what that turns out for them at the end of the movie. And Miles Catton carrying a lot of the production alongside Ludwig and singing over his instrumentals as well. The different eras and different flavors that are incorporated. If you were to listen to this out of context, it's a great score, but it's almost like, what is this movie?
Yeah.
And then you hear it in the movie and it all falls into place so well and plays to each character so well.
It has a great score and a great soundtrack, which is like
Yeah.
you usually have
Yeah.
one or the other, but it's I don't can't remember the last movie I saw where the score was amazing. Ludwig Göransson obviously is at the top of his game here. He's making a case for like best composer of the 2020s at this point with Oppenheimer and now Sinners, and he's done great work on all the Coogler films before, and just great work in
He did
general.
Tenet too, yeah.
Tenet, I mean, yeah, he knows who to work with, right? Ryan Coogler and
Mandalorian
Chris
first
Nolan.
season.
He's done Mandalorian. I mean, he's done a lot of great stuff, but he's really making a strong case here for best composer of this decade. And then the soundtrack is great too. You have like songs that you actually want to go back and listen to,
Yeah.
like Rocky Road to Dublin and Pale Pale Moon with
Right.
Jamie Lawson singing, or even like Wang Dang Doodle, like this song I had never even heard before. Like these are like great songs that you wanted to that really like get you into the world, but also are just fun to listen to on their own.
Well, and even
I can't say enough about the music.
there's a Don Tolliver cut on the soundtrack, the unofficial soundtrack, and it's him singing over the Smokestack Twins theme, and it's called Flames of Fortune, and it just you're like, oh my gosh, this could be slid into the movie as well because it just fits the theme so well. I think everyone from top down, not just the score, not just the actors, not just Coogler and his direction, but everyone was so bought in sync with what they wanted this movie to be. I know it's Coogler's script and it's his vision, but it feels like such a cool collective effort. And you see even the scene with Rocky Road to Dublin, where it's Haley Steinfeld and Michael B. Jordan, who are two of the biggest actors in the world, and they're back there going like this, dancing in the background and snapping their fingers. And it's like, oh, everyone is so bought in and having a great time with what's on screen. That's so cool, man. That's again, this is what we want from our actors. We want them to be in love with the movie that they're making, and you can feel it when they are. Because there are things about this movie that you could nitpick at, or maybe um, say that I didn't like the first act as much as the rest of the movie, but I loved the whole movie because I can just ignore the little things that I would maybe nitpick at in a 3.5 star movie. When you see that these people are giving it their all, it just enhances the movie even more and more. For me, this is just a 5 star movie all
Yes.
around. It really is something special and something that I wish I could see again in theaters already. I just want to watch it again. As soon as it ended, I wanted to watch it again and dissect it and form my thoughts out more because I have so much thoughts, but it gets to the point where you're like, how do I even put into words what I just experienced? I just experienced something so special and I don't know how to say it except that it's special.
Right. I mean, it's incredibly well crafted across the board, right? With like you said, every piece of the puzzle here. Acting, direction, cinematography, sound design, the music, obviously the sets are great. I mean, this movie doesn't look like it was shot at all on green screen. I think that most of this, or
Right.
almost all of this, was shot on location, in real places. And then the added challenge of shooting on this large format 70 millimeter IMAX film, which you didn't get to see when we this last time, but I mean, is an added challenge with this massive camera that they're using to capture these scenes. It's just so impressive. And I think this is like such a level up for Ryan Coogler in particular, who has done great work in the past. I think we've enjoyed all of his movies across the board. I just saw Fruitvale Station after watching this movie. I had seen all his movies before, hadn't seen Fruitvale, went back, and unsurprisingly, that's a great movie too.
Yeah.
It's obviously
Yeah.
like on a much smaller scale than this. It's you can't even really compare the two at all, besides the fact that it's Ludwig, it's Michael B. Jordan, it's Ryan Coogler. That's kind of where the similarities begin and end, I think. Um, but this is like a huge level up for Ryan Coogler. This is the first movie he's done with that is completely original, based that is not based on any pre-existing
Yeah.
material. Um, and I did not know he had this in him. I knew he was a good filmmaker, obviously from seeing his other films, but I didn't know he had this level of appreciation for genre and to like really
Right.
pull from influences from other filmmakers and like put them so apparently into this movie. But that's what all the great filmmakers do is they love genre and they take from their biggest influences and they just turn that into an amalgamation of their own style. And I think it just works so well here. I mean, there is obviously, like you said, there's a huge Tarantino influence on this movie. I think there is a Nolan influence on this movie, maybe not in the genre
Yeah.
elements so much, but in the large format and in like the spectacle and the scope of this movie. Obviously, The Thing is another obvious influence. I think that the Tarantino stuff is really Django and From Dusk Till Dawn is the big one. I mean, that's when I first left the theater after seeing this movie. After seeing this movie the first time, that's what was. I instantly went back and watched From Dusk Till Dawn just because
Yeah.
I wanted to go back and kind of do that same thing over again, where the first half of the movie is one thing and the second half of the movie is a vampire movie. This movie, it doesn't have that thing that From Dusk Till Dawn does, though, where it tricks you into thinking that it's one movie and then it becomes another movie.
Mhm.
This movie is from the first scene, you're like, oh, this is a horror movie. Some scary shit is going to
Right.
happen in this movie.
Right.
And so it's not trying to mislead you or kind of throw you off the scent in the same way that From Dusk Till Dawn does. But it's just so awesome that a movie can just flip on its head and go from this kind of I don't know how you describe the first half of this movie other than just set up for the second half. We're being
Right.
introduced to all the characters, we're being put into the world, and kind of being being told to feel out the tone of this movie a little bit.
Right.
Before we're introduced to more of the genre elements, but it's done so well, and Ryan Coogler is just he has brought himself into a new class of filmmaker.
Yeah.
I think he has jumped a lot of the people you could say are in his class, and now he has put himself up there with guys like Nolan and Villeneuve and people who you really like.
Jordan Peele.
Jordan Peele,
Yeah,
guys,
instantly.
you just can't. You have to drop whatever you're doing and see the next movie this guy makes.
Yeah, I think there's something we said for I think Wakanda Forever is such an incredible achievement that that is even a halfway good movie with all the circumstances that were going around that movie. And rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. What a crazy task for Coogler to take on with Wakanda Forever. But you're right. We didn't think he had this in him. I love Ryan Coogler. I would have been there for Ryan Coogler no matter what he directed. But seeing that this is, man, I love Creed, but I think this is his best movie. I think it
This
really
is
is.
definitely his best movie. I
Um,
just didn't realize he was interested in this kind of stuff, in all these
right.
different genre elements and horror and like sex and comedy and all this kind of stuff that he brings together. I just didn't obviously he's a filmmaker. He has seen some movies. Like we know that he's like familiar with the greats, but I didn't realize that he just had this kind of thing in him where he's just going to take from those guys and
Right.
build something else out of it.
It's such a crazy leap, and it should be so uncomfortable. Or like, okay, Coogler's pushing his boundaries, and he's getting into comedy more, he's getting into horror more, but it's just such a seamless fit too, where you don't even have to think about that when you're watching a movie. It doesn't feel like someone who it's their first time writing about this material or their first time directing this material. I would think this is like the 12th movie from a very refined director who has now found his footing, and this is his magnum opus. And with Coogler, it's just coming off of the back of some franchise films that have been great and he brought very good direction into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and had cultural phenomenons with those movies, and brought this. Creed shouldn't be as good as it is just from a pitch. It shouldn't be as good as he made it. with his direction, but this is just something else. This is a huge step up for him and just so comfortable. So like he was ready to jump this high all along. It was just natural for him. I like what you said about the first act and it being set up as well, because it completely is. It lets us find our footing in this universe, and then it takes us on the ride. Um, I would say the first half or first like 40% of this movie I don't like as much as the rest, but it's so important for the rest. Like any first act is, it's so important to set the characters in place, let us get a feel for them, and then that makes the eventual turns of them to zombies or not zombies, sorry. I always think zombies, vampires, so much better because you're actually connected to the characters, and a lot of films kind of miss those steps or make those steps so boring. I was not bored at all in the first half. I was having a great time still. And then from Somebody Take Me, I Lied to You onwards, and instantly using the momentum of that scene to get into the next scene with the vampires was just genius. I think this movie always uh, gave you something great on screen, gave you a little 3 minute scene, a segment that just blew your mind, and instantly propelled the movie forward off of that scene too. It was always in motion. It always had something to still get you excited about the rest of the movie. To not, you never got this big release from the climactic moments because it just kept going and kept hitting you on all cylinders. And that's so cool because I could be, and I am still taking away certain scenes from this movie because they're amazing. But really, if you're asking me, I'm taking away just this whole movie from this movie because it's so amazing.
Yeah, I guess we should probably talk about that scene, right? I think that is the thesis of this
The
movie. It's
scene.
the scene with Miles Catton playing this song, "I Lied to You," in the juke joint, and he's just absolutely killing it. And then we transition into this kind of surreal one shot, one take scene where Miles Catton's playing this blues song, and then all of a sudden we see like a tribal African playing like some traditional music, and then the camera pans, and then all of a sudden, and then we're revealed to see this like rock star, this like 70s or 80s,
Right. Jimi
electric
Hendrix
guitar,
type
Jimi Hendrix
character.
sort of guy. And then we just kind of go through all these different characters come in where they're not really there, right? But it's like so surreal, and it's done so well in the scene that you're just totally bought in, and it's meant to like talk about the like history of music, right? And how blues music and how music invented by former slaves or slaves at the time, and then into former slaves, is like has like completely transformed all of the music across the world.
Culture.
You know,
Yeah.
like all of culture. I mean, you have the scene where Delroy Lindo is talking to Miles Catton's character, and he's saying, you know, the blues music, it wasn't like this religion, it wasn't forced on us. This is something that we brought from home with us, you know, and
Right.
this is something that belongs to us. And then you also have a lot of like Chinese influence too, or
Right.
from China. You know, Chinese music was also a huge influence in modern music, and you get all these different characters, and we go all the way through like these like Chinese like traditional dancers, and we even see like G-funk hip hop and like
Right.
modern hip hop culture, and everything is reflected in this one scene. And I think it's just so awesome, and it really kind of even turns the movie up another notch to where this is not only a a southern American southern western, kind of like Django is American southern
Right.
western vampire movie where Michael B. Jordan plays twins, but it's also about black culture and the influence
Right.
that has had on America, and music and art and everything. And it's like there's just so much going on in this movie. It's like you really can't take it in all at once.
Well, it's such a celebration of culture in general, and specifically Black culture, African American culture, but it's such a celebration of culture and being connected to those roots that formed us all as who we are. And it's a message that anyone can get behind because it just makes sense. The movie's never too full of itself in that message either. It's telling the message such a positive, like just fun, celebratory way that just makes it just easy to watch and easy to get lost in. And it sets it up great from that first scene with the narration and the history of music and the certain people who could call to their ancestors. And also in that first scene with Miles Catton walking into the church and zooming in on that guitar and what he's holding and how'd that night go down. And it's that scene specifically is built off of all the way till the end of the film as well. And like you said, it is the thesis of the movie. This is I think very obviously the base idea or the first idea that came to Coogler's head, and you can tell because it's just so refined and such a celebration of a scene, a celebration of cinema, culture, music, just everything that makes people who they are. If you enjoy entertainment, how can you not enjoy that scene? I don't think anybody's debating that, right? I don't think anybody's on Twitter bashing that scene or coming out of the theater saying, I just didn't feel it in the middle. How could you not, you know? And I love that you've seen people from all over the world just loving this scene and not shutting up about this scene because it is just, again, I'm saying the word a lot, but it's just special. It's
It
something
is.
that we shouldn't take for granted. And I appreciate the hell out of Ryan Coogler for that. It was an amazing message and an amazing celebration at that joint that night.
Yeah, and just the technical craft of that scene itself. The
Yeah,
camera, it's all shot in one take. The camera moving through the club and kind of focusing or passing by all these different characters, some of them real that we know, and some of them more like imaginary, surreally placed in the world, and they're moving around, and then the camera like tilts up and goes through the ceiling, and then
melts through.
then
Yeah,
we're outside the juke joint, and the whole building has burned down, but everyone is still inside dancing and singing to the music. And then we pull back further, and then the three vampires kind
the
of come into
theme
the foreground.
changes.
The
Yeah,
theme changes. We get that like death metal guitar hit, and it's like this is cinema. Like this is literally
right.
all of the elements of filmmaking coming together to like create such an emotional response from the audience. And it's
Yeah,
just like this is what we go to the movies for. This type of shit right here.
yeah. It's chill inducing.
Yes.
It's something you can't quantify unless you see it and you hear it and you
And you instantly
it
want to go
it
watch it again.
right. It attacks all your senses in such a cool way. And while doing all that, it makes you think. And that's what's so cool about that's what I was trying to convey about the message that Coogler has behind it too, is that it's not this just brainless, fun zombie thriller. It has this amazing message behind it and makes you digest and think about the movie afterwards, while also just giving you the craziest fucking plot, especially for the last half of the movie, that I've seen in a while. I just the first act is you finding your footing, and then the second act and into the third act is Cooler saying, "All right, you're on the roller coaster. Let's fucking go. We're not going half-assed. We're not going, for a straight ride. We're throwing you on loops. We're telling the story. You're gonna sit and you're gonna watch it and you're gonna love it. We're going as fast as possible, and it's out of control in the best way. From those moving cameras at that night and the start to breakdown of the twins aren't getting money from this event. There's somebody trying to rob from them. Haley Steinfeld's character going outside to maybe talk to the vampires. Uh, just it starts to break down in this fun way and leading to the thing or the Dust Till Dawn type standoff at the end, which is uh, something awesome as well. I was especially from that scene turned on, the I lied to you turned on, magic what we do. Uh, there wasn't I wasn't thinking about anything but what was on screen. I'm so bad in the theater about looking at other people watch the movie or seeing like what the reaction is. I love that stuff. I love that's part of the theater experience, right? Is seeing other people be so
Oh
amazed
yeah.
by the movie too. I couldn't turn and look at like my sister sitting next to me or you sitting next to me. I was so locked into the screen and just trying to figure out and piece together what was going on and see what choice was made next that my senses were hijacked. I wasn't me. I was just a thing watching
Yep.
the movie.
Yeah, I mean, captivating. This movie is truly
Right.
captivating. Like from the opening scene, you are just immediately like locked in. You can't help but lock in from this opening scene. And it's just so captivating. Like you were just constantly compelled to like not look away from the screen. Like you were just glued to the screen. It's just amazing. I also really I have to again shout out to Jack O'Connell playing Remick. I mean,
Yeah.
he's amazing. He's absolutely amazing. You like can't help but like kind of like him in a really weird
Yeah.
way. He's like so charismatic and you kind of want to like him. And then when you get towards the end of the movie, you are the characters themselves who have been turned into vampires are compelling you to like them, to like
Right.
the vampires, to want to
Or to think if
join,
it's worth joining them. Yeah.
right, to want to join Remick. And it is it probably would be not a bad idea to join him. I mean, he makes a very compelling case
Right.
to
Yeah.
our surviving characters as to why they need to join him. When he's telling them, look, like this world, the America, this country that you live in right now does not want you,
Yeah.
does
It's
not
never
like
going to
you.
appreciate you.
They won't let you build. They won't let you fellowship. They won't let you do what you want to do. They won't let you live and truly be free. If you join us, all you have to do is let us kill you, let us turn you into vampires, and we will have a big community based on equality and freedom and love. And we will go. I love when he says, now that we've got numbers, we'll go see that old bigot, the KKK leader, and we'll go
Right.
rectify him too. It's like, and so he's making a really compelling
We'll all
case as
rejoice together. Yeah.
exactly. He's making a very compelling case as to why we need to join him. So you can't really blame the guy, right? And yes, he's an evil vampire. He is the devil, whatever, like obviously we don't actually want to join him, but you could be convinced. And some of the characters were convinced in this movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just can't say enough about like everything is great in this movie. The plot, the writing, Coogler thought of everything here. And he got these
Right.
amazing actors to embody these characters. It's just you don't see stuff like this, all the elements of a film coming together to like truly become greater than the sum of its parts. It's just it doesn't happen all the time, so it's so
Yeah.
special when it does.
Well, and it could have easily been the white guy walking into the room with the black party, and taking it over and just
Right.
breaking in and ruining the whole night. And look at what this guy does. He just ruins everything, and he doesn't, he has this weird desire and respect towards the music that's being played. He has this weird love and admiration for them, Sammy. And he like you said, he's so funny. Like that when they say like you might be one of the clan members, and he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
We believe
That's
in equality.
right. That's absolutely not what he was there for. And it's funny
Right.
because you feel that he means that. You feel it through the screen that he's actually like, listen, we just wanted to get down with you guys tonight. And obviously he wants to turn them and commune with them and be part of this, sing the road to Dublin and be this hilarious band together. But he wants this weird, good afterlife for their souls. He wants to appreciate them in his own way. And maybe it's not the right way. And I think the movie spells out how it feels about that by the end, with Stack, in the final scene. But you're right. You can see why he has the perspective that he does, and why he thinks the point he's making is a valid point, and maybe even Coogler thinks it's a valid point to some extent as well. Obviously, the movie doesn't end with that feeling, but it definitely embraces that feeling when it's present and gives him so much more depth than I think I could have ever hoped for him to have before the movie, besides just being just vampire villain guy who's going to be a thriller and chase our main protagonists and turn them. That's not all what happens.
Right.
I think
He's a
that
real character. He's there for a reason.
absolutely, absolutely. I think again, like the choices that were made, I didn't realize that all of them, damn near all of them, were going to turn. That it was going to be that kind of movie too, because there were so many people at the party that night,
Hmm.
and he makes quick work of a lot of them after Stack's demise as well. And it was a really fun choice to have Stack turn, because I really like Stack a little bit more than Smoke in the first half. I was more engaged with Stack's story. How can you not like him more? The movie, I think, sets you up to like him more because he is a little bit more like run and gun, wild child type. He spends a lot more time with Miles Catton, who's our kind of our entry point character, the character that we're seeing the world through. And Smoke is more of this reserved, has more secrets about him, has his love as well, but it's maybe more complicated. And it's a cool choice because it makes us attached to Stack at the moment, and we feel the attachment in the turn. And it also allows Smoke's character to grow and just be more, first off, more badass, right? That's what's most important besides anything. Is he's just more badass from that moment on, kicking some vampires' asses, and also develop his character through that and get his ultimate payoff through that, through being alive, through being with his partner and joining his partner after the slaying of the clan that comes for them. It was a cool way the movie made its choices. I think every choice was very intentional and was very thought out. And I didn't second guess the choice when it was made, but there's part of me that's like, man, I want to see more Stack on screen. And we still got a lot of Stack, and we got even better performance from Smoke. I think just like Michael B. Jordan, where'd you hide your twin? That couldn't have been it's two people, right? It can't just be Michael B. Jordan playing them both. It's like the Army Hammer thing where they made a clone for The Social Network.
Yeah.
That's Michael B. Jordan. There's no way there's just one of him. There's
Yeah.
got to be a Michael C. Jordan or something out there.
It does feel awesome. And they're totally like flexing on you in that first introductory scene to Smoke and Stack when one of them is rolling the cigarette and he lights it, hands it to the other one,
Right.
smokes it, hands it back. It's Coogler just flexing and being like, yeah, I
Yeah, we're
know how
doing
good
this.
this
Yep.
looks, like this, you're not going to be able to tell. I know that this is the same person, but that instantly just goes to put you into the world
Right.
of, no, these are two different guys, right? This is not one guy playing two people. These are two individual characters that just look exactly the same.
Yeah.
I also wanted to, going back to Remick just for a minute, the fact that he's an Irish vampire too, coming from some old version of Ireland, right? That was colonized by the British. He like kind of
Right.
understands the plight
Right.
of these black characters, right? He understands, like he's even talking to Sammy at the end when Sammy starts praying, before Remick is about to kill him or trying to kill him, and Sammy starts praying, and then Remick starts praying with him and goes,
Right.
long ago, when when I can't remember exactly what he says, but he talks about how his land was invaded and they forced that religion on us. They gave us those words too, but the words they do still bring me comfort, after all this time.
Yeah.
And he like kind
Yeah.
of understands what these characters are going through in this modern time in the in modern day in the film. So he kind of
Yeah.
understands them. And it just again adds another layer. Like Coogler was thinking of everything in this movie. Like,
Right. Very intentional.
yes, everything is
Yeah.
so intentional. And you just have to respect him for it. This movie has been, I think, hailed by audiences and critics since its release. I don't think everybody has pretty much loved it. It's been a hit at the box office. And rightfully so. I mean, this really is the movie of the year so far. And I don't know. There maybe are some contenders for something that could get close to this, but I think we might have like the winner on our hands already.
Yeah,
for the
shoot your
year.
best shot if you're
Yeah,
going to be
like,
gunning for this movie.
This
Shoot
is
your
the
best
bar,
shot.
and the bar is very
Yeah.
high.
Yeah. I agree with Remick. Like it's a weird he understands them, but he absolutely doesn't at the same time, right? Because it's different plight, different time.
Of course.
But he absolutely does understand the feeling that they feel. And while it's completely different and a different continent and a different skin color and a different background, he understands the outlets that they use, the comfort in prayer, the comfort in music, the comfort in gathering and communing and like cult versus culture, I think is one of the big debates of this film. Like which one, cult maybe gives you a sense of belonging, but culture absolutely does too. And culture gives you a sense of purpose. And it's such a beautiful and intentional debate that Coogler caused, and such a beautiful message that he's bringing through the characters. Again, with so much intent and so much attention to detail that you can't help but just give him a round of applause. And I just full on, I think it's depending on the movie you see, it's sometimes ridiculous to clap after the movie. I start clapping, like that was a damn good movie. Like what can you do? You just got to give it up to them. Um, you even told me like the second post credit scene isn't as
It has no
like
bearing on the
has
plot
no
whatsoever.
purpose compared to the first credit scene. And I was like, well, I'm staying.
It's
They
just a little
earned it.
tag at the end.
They absolutely earned it.
Oh yeah.
If I could have seen it again that night, I would have seen it again that night, because there's so much perfection in how this movie is executed. And I think everything this movie wanted to do, it did. It gave every message it needed to. It nailed the moments that we need to talk about forever. I think this will be a movie that I just think about forever. It's constantly in my like, well, what are some of your favorite movies? This will rattle right off the top of my head and with ease, because it is just so much fun. We've talked about the comedy at some points too, but the comedy I think
Some
makes
great
it
comedic moments.
just so approachable too, and
Because
always
everyone wants
comes
to
at a
laugh,
good moment.
right? It's not like
Right.
just building tension forever and then there's no release. It's like all this. There is a lot of comedy in here. Like, it's like
Right.
just key moments. It's not like undercutting anything, but it's used very well and very
Yeah.
smartly to like keep the audience a little bit lighter. Not and
Yeah.
always keep us engaged. Like people want to
Engaged.
laugh at the movies, even if it's not a straight up comedy. Coogler finds ways to like inject a little bit of levity here and there. Even
When it's his own sense of humor.
yes,
It's his own, and it never undercuts anything. It never takes away from the emotional moments. It's always in service to them, or there was one that was like uncomfortably close where Smoke is shooting the KKK leader like 30 times, and you laugh, and then he looks back at his wife, and you're like,
Uh-huh.
oh yeah, that's right. I'm still wrapped up in the story. And it's so close in scenes, or so close in moments. It's 5 seconds apart from each other. It's literally one cut away from each other, and still both moments hit the comedy and the emotional gut punch of seeing Smoke with his kid and keep that smoke away from him. Like that's fuck, man. Like I don't know how he pulled it off. I still don't know how. Coogler's got to be. You've seen he went on like a little victory lap kind of press tour even before the movie came out because I think he knew what he had and he wanted to share. You could see the passion of like, this is my movie. This is Sinners. This is what I wrote. Here's how he filmed it. He's so proud of it, and you can see it on screen. Like, why would he not be proud of such an amazing outcome? Again, just delivering on everything I think he wanted to do with this movie. He did it.
Yeah, this movie does have kind of the Return of the King thing going on where it ends like three different times.
Yeah.
There's like there are almost three different points in this movie where that could be the final scene.
Mhm.
If you have somehow still listened all the way to this point and you haven't seen this movie, don't leave when it says directed by Michael B. Jordan. The
Right.
credits start rolling because I mean it's the credits are like intercut with additional footage, so it's
Yeah.
kind of telling you
It keeps
this
you
isn't quite
there.
over
Yeah.
yet. But there were people in our screening the other day that got up and left as soon as the first
Can't
title
believe
card
it.
hit. There were every screening I've been to, the first three IMAX screenings I went to, there's people get up and leave as soon as that first one hits, even with the footage cut in between the
Yeah.
the title cards. Um, and like it's a great post credit scene. It is like a mid credit scene that is really the final scene of this movie.
Yeah.
And so it does feel a little bit like Coogler. Marvel didn't invent the post credit scene, obviously, but it does feel a little bit like he's like, well, I'll
Right.
take a little bit
I'll
from
make it a
my
post
Marvel,
credit scene.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we did post credits with Marvel. Like, I could find a fun way to work that into this movie, and it's so cool. Like, we go all the way up to the '90s, like 60 years after the events of the film. Um, Miles Catton was our only survivor, but then we get Stack and Haley Steinfeld's character Mary. They come in and
Yeah.
they obviously look exactly the same. Stack has like the whole '90s getup with like the
Juice box
funkadelic,
fade.
yeah, the
Yeah.
fade and the glasses and the sweater and the chain and the stack, the brass knuckles or whatever you call
Yeah.
it. It says stack on it. I mean, like so awesome. Every time, all the three times that I saw this in IMAX in Arizona, when that reveal happens when he steps out and he's in that whole '90s getup, everyone in the theater just started
Right.
laughing. There's like a nice
Right.
little chuckle there. And then
He looks so cool though.
he looks awesome.
He
He
looks
looks
so
so
dope.
sick.
Yeah.
And they meet with the now old Miles Catton, played by Buddy Guy, the famous blues guitarist and musician. And it's revealed that he wasn't Stack wasn't killed, and he was allowed to live by his brother as long as he let Miles Catton's character Preacher Boy
Right.
live out his life. And it's just such like a great bookend to the movie. It's a very
Yeah.
nice ending. Um, it just
It
ends on the
fulfills
perfect
the
note.
entire message. It fulfills
Yes.
the entire message. Uh, Him saying that was, one of the best day of his life before that sunset and before
Hmm.
that, while they're playing the music there and Stack agreeing like it was the one time that he felt truly free and the last time that he ever got to see a sunset. There's this bittersweet ending to it, but it's the right ending and it's such a fulfilling ending while being, it's just this again like an emotional moment and but it just makes so much sense. You said it like it's the ending that this movie needed. It really is.
Yeah, I'm just completely blown away by this.
Yeah.
I will be watching this many more times. I really wish,
Yeah,
Dante, you
absolutely.
you could have seen this in IMAX with me,
I know.
because the experience, don't get me wrong, was great seeing it in the theater the
Sure.
other day, but IMAX, as you know, is like completely different. And the fact that Coogler shot this in IMAX and in
Yeah.
Ultra Panavision 70, it's like those two formats together, they're very rare. And it just, I think it speaks to the intentionality behind this movie that like we're doing something very special here, and we are
Yeah.
going to kind of like highlight that by
Go
using
all
the
out on all
we're
fronts.
going all out, not just everything I mentioned before, but also with film formats. We're projecting in 143 on film. we're going to shoot
Right.
this on IMAX film. We're going to shoot this in Ultra Panavision, which is like those two formats are incredibly rare. And it's
Yeah.
just so cool. And I think, again, it speaks to all the intentionality behind this movie. Like nothing was overlooked. Everything was thought out behind this movie. And I would kill to see this in IMAX again.
Right.
And I already pre-ordered the 4K, so I can't wait to get that here. The 4K, I looked it up, and I think the 4K is going to do the Nolan thing where it's switching aspect ratios at
Good.
home too. So it's going to fill up your whole TV screen during those
Good.
1:43 scenes. But yeah, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this movie. This is the movie of the year for me so far. And I'm not saying not saying I don't want anything to beat it, because of course I go into every movie wanting it to be like an amazing
Right.
movie. But at this
How
point,
can you?
at this point in the year, I don't know if I can
Already.
see anything beating this. This is like everything you could ever want in a movie. So I can't say enough good things. I'm completely thrilled by this. And I am,
It's the first huge release of the year too, right? Like it's the real Mickey 17 kind of dud and flamed
yeah,
itself
yeah.
out. And then this was the kickoff to summer movie season, and it's probably going to be the best movie of the year. I
I
don't see anything beating it. So
yes.
that's what's so funny too, is that like second straight year it comes so early in the year, and you're just like, yeah, there's not something better than this. There can't be. Or what is it? Is it out there? I don't think so.
Yeah. No, I think you're totally right with that. Saying that like this is the first movie that like everybody's talking about, right? This is the first big cultural kind of thing of the year where
Yeah.
everyone's tweeting about it, everyone's loving it, everyone's going to see it. It's getting amazing word of mouth, I think, which is really helping this movie. People are telling their friends to see it. I mean, I brought my friends to see it after I saw it the first time. I went home and said, guys, you need to see this movie. Like, you absolutely
Right.
need to see this. I think a lot of people have been doing that. And it's really helping the movie out. And I think this is, yeah, the first thing this year where like everyone is kind of rallying around it and everyone's kind of giving this movie its due praise.
Well, and I think it's something, yeah, where the word of mouth is just catching on, and it's been re-released in IMAX now. Like they're gonna
Mm-hmm.
rerun it, throughout this week in IMAX because people are demanding it. It's so fun to see people just appreciate good art. I don't think I've heard anyone say a single bad thing about this movie because A, how could you? And B, people are realizing just how great this movie is and how unique it is. I don't think anyone can go into this movie and think like, oh yeah, I'd rather watch blank, or I'd rather, this fits its own genre, this fits its own mold, this fits its own story to tell in its own lane. And the people that clamor and clamor and clamor for original movies, and they don't make them like they used to, and this is
This
everything
is that.
from technical aspect, the budget behind it, the talent in it, just everything. It's not some small independent indie movie. There's not like, these unknown actors in it. There is, right? But it's not led by, it's Michael B. Jordan and Haley Steinfeld as the pitch. And it's not some director it's their first movie and maybe it'll sneak under the radar for people. If you're clamoring for original movies, you have no excuse not to see this because this is 100% original. Like as much as we say it's has some influence from other things, it is 100% original, and people are respecting that and are going out to see it in droves, and that's so cool. And I think it's like the right movie at the right time. We get one every year or so where it's just perfect storm. And it's the perfect storm. It's the perfect moment for Ryan Coogler. It released pretty much all by itself as well, especially after a dry couple months after the Oscars, and just has taken over the United States, has taken over the movie watching as a whole. Like cinephiles are just freaking out for this movie, and rightfully so.
Yeah. One thing that doesn't really fit into kind of where we're going with the conversation, but did you want to see more from the Choctaw, from the Indians hunting Remick? That's kind of the only thing where
Right.
I feel like there was more there that we didn't quite get. We get
Well, and he's smoking when he comes off of them, right? Like he's,
like something has
it's
happened to him, whether
they
it
were
was the
getting
sun
close
that
to
did
him.
that to
Yeah.
him or what. I don't know how. Right. The first introduction to Remick, he like kind of falls into frame from the top. He's like smoking. He's pretty burned. He's like banging on the door to this couple to try to
Yeah.
get them to let him into his house. Um,
Well, and they've figured it out too because they leave before the sun goes down
right.
too.
They
They're just
know.
like, "Hey, the sun's going down. Let's get the
Right.
fuck out of
Yeah.
here."
He's
That's cool to me that they
yes.
had figured it out at that point. I agree.
Yeah.
I would have liked to see more
He's
from
being
them.
pursued by the Choctaw. I would have liked to see more of them kind of pursuing him, or kind of how do they know about him? How did that kind of
Right.
come about? So maybe in the
I'd
deleted scenes,
I'd
I
watch a spin-off.
absolutely, I would definitely watch a spinoff. But I would, first of all, I would watch like an extended cut of this movie 100%. So
Right.
maybe we'll
Yeah.
get,
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think we'll get an extended cut on the 4K on the Blu-ray, but I think we will get some deleted scenes. So maybe we might get some more
Yeah.
of that there. But that's like the only thing I could think of where it kind of left me wanting a little bit more.
I'd watch Ryan Coogler's Sinners, the 4-hour cut,
Sure. Oh,
with
100%.
like the scenes of the smokestack twins in Chicago, maybe making an escape from Chicago, going back to Mississippi. Like, I would watch the fuck out of that.
Hmm.
Seeing the whole extended version, and then it bookends with Chicago. It starts with the twins in Chicago, and then ends with you know him playing Sammy playing in Chicago at the end. Um, I'd watch the hell out of that one. What do you want to see from Ryan Coogler next? Because there's a huge part of me um, that wants to see Blade because duh, like it's just such a
Blade is
no-brainer
a
at this point.
cursed project.
It's so cursed, but if anyone can do it, this is the answer. There's no other answer in the world. Um, and so there's part of me that like maybe even Marvel with the direction they've gone, and I don't want to just it's weird as like say let's put him back in a franchise, but maybe they give him even more control over something like that and just make it this incredible movie. Um, or do we just want to see whatever he writes originally? Because I know it'll be there before or after another franchise, but this feels like the time to capitalize even more so and give him, with the deal they made with this movie with the 25 years and him owning it, the copyrights to it after 25 years, with him having all the budget and marketing behind this, it's very much feels like Oppenheimer, where it's just a director betting on himself and maybe making his best work yet. Um, so what's next is always the question after you make a
Yeah.
great movie like this. What's next? What do you want to see next from him?
I would like to see him continue to do genre stuff. He has
Yeah,
done all franchise stuff pretty much up to this point, besides Fruitvale Station. Fruitvale Station, not really like a genre film. I would
right.
love to see more of this kind of stuff out of him, more like horror stuff. It doesn't have to specifically be horror. This also isn't like a capital H horror movie. There are
Yeah.
horror elements. Obviously, it's a vampire movie, so it falls into the category of horror. But it's not like a movie that's really gonna scare you.
Yeah,
It's
there's some weird horror cheese in there too.
definitely.
Like it really does feel again with that and with that strong theme, it's like this I don't know how to like it's like awesome horror almost where it's the fun kind of horror is how you'd pitch it to
Yeah, oh,
someone. Like
definitely.
you're gonna have a great time with the horror in this movie.
Yeah, I would love to see more stuff like this out of him. Stay in genre. Work in maybe like a western. He obviously has the feel for this kind of stuff. So maybe something that's like a quasi western akin to this movie. More action. I mean, we haven't really, Black Panther. Obviously, there's action in that movie, but it's a comic book movie. The action's a lot different. It's much more muted and PG. It's not like this where the action is very visceral and bloody and like very
Yeah, the
palpable.
fake blood's amazing in this
Yes.
movie. It's very clearly fake blood where it's just squirting out in bright red, and that's awesome. It only adds to the style of the film. There's so much style here, in every choice, from the character designs to the music to the set designs to the weird simplicity of the set, the main set of the movie. And then I think the blood just tops it off too by just being this gross, straight up squirting out bright red blood that feels like it's from an older movie too. And uh, I who knew he had like the western in him? Who knew he had the horror movie in him? I think he's made pretty much nothing but modern movies or movies about the times with what he's made so far.
Yeah.
And then this is maybe one of his most timely movies too, while being not even set anywhere near modern day. It has maybe the most modern themes to it. And while being a movie that you could see like a movie like this being released again in the 80s as well, and just being this over the top horror action thriller. And so it's again really cool. I think the right answer for like what do you want to see next is just another Ryan Coogler movie. Like I don't care
Yes.
what it is,
I want
right?
to see him continue to write and
Yeah.
direct.
Yeah.
The franchise stuff, obviously, he's very good at. But I
Yeah.
think obviously he has shown that if he is able to write a project and see it through,
Right.
completely conceive it, bring in all his preferred collaborators and see it to its end, something great is going to happen. So I really want to see him continue to do stuff that
Yeah.
he is writing, that stuff that he is in charge of creating.
Well, how many studios do you think are like kicking themselves right now that they didn't bet on this guy earlier? Like, like this is, I can't believe, I'm sure Marvel's thinking like, dude, we could have given him even more control over our movies and given him, he might be the best director that spawned from all of their stuff, especially because that's some of his first movies are the Marvel movies or is the Creed movie. How many people are just getting in line right now, ready to produce whatever he puts his stamp on next. And he's doing it all with his own kind of production company too, producing Judas and the Black Messiah and having his wife as the executive producer. And a cool note too is having Ludwig Göransson's wife as the executive music producer as well. Just two college roommates, just
Yeah.
killing it. So that was just a cool little anecdote in the credits of the film as well.
Yeah. Um, I think we should try to leave it here at some point. I mean,
Yeah,
I definitely I have more thoughts on Sinners,
right.
but I feel like I've gotten most of them out, and
Yeah,
but I think every time I watch this movie, I think more things will be revealed, more ideas,
yeah,
more thoughts I didn't have before. So, the last thing I'll say about this is I can't wait to watch it again.
right. That's absolutely. I think it comes out on like the 20th or 27th already on iTunes with the pre-order. So yeah, as soon as it's out, I'm gonna watch it
Yeah.
that night. Uh, it's been 48 hours for me, so my thoughts are still processing like crazy on this movie, and it's all I've been thinking about for the last 48 hours, besides just the tasks that I have at hand to get through my day. It's in my free time, it's been Sinners and experiencing this movie again immediately. Um, just for Ryan Coogler, dude, like keep it up, keep defying. He's young. I don't think he's even 40 either. I think he's 38 or something. So it's just like, it's so cool that we've got this new director in our age too. And like, not our age, but our age of watching movies. And we've been able to just easily follow his career so far too, and just see him blossom and continue to grow. Like he's going to be around for as long as he wants to be, as he's made known at this point. And seeing new directors coming up is just, it's something we always need. And bravo, dude. This was amazing.
Yeah. Ryan Coogler, Sinners, movie of the year for us so far. Um, Make sure to follow us on everything, right? Cinema Cult Pod. On Instagram, follow Dante and I. On Instagram, Twitter, on Letterboxd. Go read our reviews and ratings for this movie. And go see Sinners. And if
Yeah,
you have seen it already, go see it again
right.
because
You
this
probably
movie is
already
fucking
have. Yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
But yeah, thanks for listening, and we will catch you on the next one.